And here we are at the world's largest wallet once again, and it's actually slightly balmier than what we've had the past week of 20 degrees. It's almost 40 perhaps, right?
We're very grateful.
Yeah, you guys are a very lucky group. No hats on, we got no hats, no gloves. Much easier today. And who are we speaking with today?
My name is Eric Thompson. I'm president of the board of EV Earthen Vessels, a tutoring and mentoring program for inner city kids.
And you've got?
I'm Francisco. I'm a tutor with the program and a student at Harvard.
So Eric, what's a one-sentence elevator statement about what you guys do?
We match Harvard volunteer students one-on-one for long-term relationships for tutoring and mentoring of children from disadvantaged neighborhoods of Boston, Dorchester, Roxbury, and help them get into college.
Wow. So when you say long-term, we're talking about, give us a sense, give our viewers a sense.
Well, Francisco here is a senior graduating from Harvard. He's been with the program for 2 years.
Congratulations, Francisco.
We try and recruit our volunteers when they're freshmen, so they'll stay with us for 4 years, and ideally with the same child for 4 years.
Wow.
Some even stay for graduate school and will stay on with the program. And I was telling your colleague that our current record is 17 years with the program. We have a full professor now at Harvard who was in the program all the way through his associate professorship.
Oh, wow, that's incredible. That's a testimony to the good work that they do. So when you match people up, is it a freshman at Harvard with a freshman in high school, or is it?
It varies. So we had this past graduating class, we did have a student who graduated from Harvard going on to law school who was matched with, at the time, a freshman in high school who was graduating and going on to college. So that can happen, but we take kids as young as second grade. In the program. So it's school-age children. So graduating senior of the EV kids last year, one had been in the program for 10 years, one had been in the program for 6 years, and on it goes.
That's pretty impressive. And how long has this been going on?
Well,
we know at least 17 years, but how much more beyond that?
Our partnership with Harvard, in particular with the Harvard Catholic Center, goes back 25 years.
Whoa.
And EV Earthen Vessels has been in existence for 30 years. It started as a summer camp program for inner city kids up in Vermont.
Was it started by Harvardians, or
it was? The two founders are my parents.
Wow.
my father got his undergraduate, his master's, and his PhD at Harvard, and just retired from UMass Boston after 40 years. And my mother has taught at Harvard in the Romance Languages department, and received her MA from Harvard as well. So there's a strong Harvard connection.
Family connection.
Both my brother and I went to Harvard, and that was when we started the tutoring program piece of it. We had grown up as teenagers being camp counselors in the camp during the summers.
Right. So you can't get enough of this program. It's obviously very fulfilling.
Well, so I've actually just taken over this past year as board president from my dad, and we're transitioning. We've hired an acting executive director to take over from my mother, and we're really excited about continuing the program for another 30 years. One of the projects we have for next fall is to expand to the BC Boston College campus, and we're looking forward to that expansion. It'll allow us to take in more kids into the program.
Right. Wow. And what has it been like for you as a tutor?
Yeah, it's been
4 years.
A phenomenal experience. Harvard is, being a student at Harvard, it's like a boat, we call it. You don't really get out of Harvard Square. All your colleagues are doing the same kind of things, taking the same kind of classes, exams. It's great to be able to get out, once a week and go to these, neighborhoods and see these kids and really form a relationship, and it really gives you a bigger perspective, big picture.
Right. And how did you find the kids that you were involved with? How does that happen? Do they come to you? Do you come to them? How does the matching process, or the finding process?
Yeah, well, I mean, we get referrals from schools, from social workers, from religious groups. We'll get referrals from family members, the downstairs neighbors. Once they hear about it, they want to be in.
Yep.
the program, and Earthen Vessels then matches the student one-on-one with a volunteer who's stepped up and said, I want to help. And that's where Francisco comes in.
So any given semester, you have how many people?
We'll have as many as, currently about 30 pairs, one-on-one pairs.
Okay.
They go in once a week,
Yeah.
and we're looking to double that with the addition of the Boston College volunteers.
Oh, that'll be a lot of work. Well, let's go to this beautiful piece of art, really, that you have here, and maybe you can tell us about that as our camera focuses on it.
So this year is our 30th anniversary year. We had a wonderful gala event, and one of the awards went to my parents for a lifetime of giving.
Yeah.
And one of our alumni, who was the co-chair of the gala event with myself, Diana Rodriguez, she was class of '89 here at Harvard, was a tutor, has been back up to camp to visit. She took a photograph that my dad had taken. That's actually my mother from behind on a mountaintop at camp.
In Vermont.
In Vermont, yeah. And then she uploaded about 1,400 pictures that we had scanned, archival pictures. These go back 30 years of camp and tutoring.
That's beautiful.
So here you have about 2,000 pictures actually that make up this one portrait. And it was produced by a company called Photo Mosaic.
Yep.
They do wonderful work. We actually have this.
Get a close-up of some.
We have this picture online, and you can zoom in and out to see the individual pictures.
You can.
It's fantastic.
Can you click on each of the pictures? That's got to be too much.
You can't
right?
get. No. The version we have online, you can click enough to see the detail of every picture. But it's a wonderful piece of work, and it's going to go up in our
Since we can't
offices.
get into the great detail here in this interview, I see you have some more pictures over there that perhaps are, you can tell us a little bit about here. In our big ID pocket here, and we've got, let's ID some of these things.
Sure. Well, this goes through the 30-year history of Earthen Vessels, EV. Here's
wow, your first camp.
Yeah,
Look at that.
an early picture of Breezy Hill Farm up in Northeast Kingdom of Vermont. It was a property that was loaned to us by a colleague of my dad for the first camp.
Yeah.
Actually, for the first several years of camp. Until 1985, when EV purchased its own 9-acre camp in the Green Mountains of Vermont. And from there we added, we realized that in the, we saw the kids in the summer, but we realized during the school year, we would have camp reunions and so on. We realized during the school year they were really struggling academically.
Right.
Some of them ended up having some stints of homelessness with their families.
Oh my goodness. So you track these people from your camp after the first few years, and that's where
some of the earliest campers are still lifelong friends of ours. And so the idea of adding the tutoring program came out of the real need that we saw among the kids in these neighborhoods, in some of the worst schools in Boston.
Right.
They were just falling through the cracks, many of them at risk of dropping out and never graduating.
Right, and you knew these people and you wanted to help them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is incredible.
And so, we hired in 1989 our first educational coordinator for school advocacy. She would go visit with every kid's teachers and see what what the issues were.
Just graduate from Harvard at that point?
I don't know. I don't remember, but certainly brought youthful energy to it.
Yeah,
as all our
I bet the
volunteers
kids could really relate.
As all our volunteers do.
Yeah.
And we've stayed in touch here. This is Carla, who was one of our first EV kids to graduate from college, and is actually on our board of directors now.
Fabulous. So these kids are giving back.
They are.
And the whole system is cycling itself through, and perhaps your kids will get involved in this.
We then added a family advocate, because many of these families were in crisis, and so we have a social worker on staff that does crisis intervention and helps when families are in crisis.
So your program has gotten even more comprehensive than just
we really wrap around
tutoring.
The goal is for these kids to succeed.
Right.
And to do that, it's not just academics. They need family support as well. They need everybody to be working towards the same goal.
Right.
And so when there is a family crisis, we help to make sure that the child still goes to school, still has the support they need, and that they won't just fall off the radar screen. One of our board members is a former EV kid who, at the time he was in the program, his family was in a homeless shelter. And he ended up going to Tufts on a full scholarship.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so we've got some
great inspiration. It shows
these kids,
these kids can do.
These kids have so much potential.
Yeah.
And the tragedy is that many of them will never realize their potential because one, nobody will tell them it's possible.
Yes.
And two, nobody will be there for them on what is a hard journey because they have so many strikes against them.
Sure.
They're behind in their academics. They don't have a lot of times. They don't have the family support there. Most of them are for single parent working, single parent households.
Yeah.
Anybody who spent any time in those neighborhoods knows that even just walking to school can be dangerous.
Yeah, right.
And so there's so many opportunities for them to fail that EV is dedicated to providing opportunities for them to succeed.
Right, many pathways. In terms of pathways, tell us about the pathways to giving. What are some of the ways people can get involved, perhaps like Francisco or at other levels, or can just write a check?
Yes, absolutely. So the easiest way to give is online.
Yeah.
We're at evkids.org.
Earthen Vessels, what a beautiful name too.
evkids.org is the website, and our contact information. We also welcome interest, and again, the best way to get in touch with us is through the website.
Yep.
Welcome interest for those who are interested in volunteering.
Oh, getting a bit windy here. You're getting some weather payback for the warmth.
There are different ways to get involved. We have
and all that's on the website.
It is on the website
for people. We have different levels they can see that they can get involved.
Absolutely. We have you can help us send kids to camp, which is a wonderful experience. They get out of the city and we hike all the tallest peaks in Vermont.
Right.
They learn to swim. Many of them don't know how to swim. We teach them to swim.
Right.
They have other camp activities, archery. Volleyball is a big sport there.
I think I want to go to this camp. I actually never went to camp and didn't learn to swim until I was 15. So you can imagine these kids are going to be way ahead by just going there for the summer.
And we do periodic events so people can get together and have a good time. We do a wine tasting right here in Harvard Square at Fire and Ice annually. We have our gala at the Charles Hotel.
And when is that? Is that coming up with the holiday season?
We just had our gala, but the wine tasting will be probably in March. We have not yet fixed a date.
Okay, something to look forward to here to us snowbirds here. Well, thank you so much for joining us and being one of our partners this year for the inaugural Big Red Wallet in Harvard Square. This team is going to be here for the next 2 days. It's winter here. This is real passion, real dedication. Whoever sees this video, please forward this to your friends and please give to this organization. They absolutely deserve it. They have a long history of success helping how many kids? Is there an estimate? Do you have any sense of how many? Let's throw a big number out there.
we have hundreds of graduates of the program, and part of our mission too is training our volunteer college students to be future agents of positive change. Many of them have gone on to public service jobs. I myself became a civil rights attorney in large part because of my involvement with this organization. Others have gone on to urban education and other public service careers, and so we see ours as a double impact. It's not only on the kids that we serve, but also on our volunteers.
Yeah, I mean the multiplication that's involved here, if you're just giving $50 or your time or $100 or $1,000, as you can see, goes on many different levels, goes out, helps make the world a much better place. So please, forego that steak dinner or a couple steak dinners, send a check instead to this organization. And thanks again for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us. The website is ev.org.
ev.org.
I'm sorry, evkids.org. and we look forward to hearing from you.
And how could you forget that poetic name, Earthen Vessels? And thank you, Francisco, for being involved for this many years as well.
Yeah, thank you.